Let's make an easy mock neck long sleeve shirt. Welcome, I do sewing and DIY related content, and today we are going to be making a knit shirt. So you can see I have this nice 4-way stretch knit here. I have folded it in half so that it has 2 layers, and we are going to be using a shirt that you may already previously have and basically clone our clothes. So there's no pattern involved. You can use a shirt that you already like that may have a similar texture. You just want it to be a knit shirt, and we're going to be tracing that out. So as you see, I have my shirt down on my knit fabric right now, and I'm going to trace the main portion of the shirt front and back. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to be doing the sleeves, but I'm going to be doing the sides, the top, the shoulders, and the bottom portion of the shirt, leaving about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch seam allowance on either side. So when you're going through tracing it, be sure to leave about 1 inch of room all the way around, and that will allow us to sew. Now what you see is, especially at the collar, the front and back are different. So the back is higher than the front. So when it comes time to actually cut this out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the 2 pieces, and I will kind of retrace it for where the front is versus the back. And then that will allow me to get that slightly lower neckline in the front so that it fits over your head better versus that back being higher. And this will allow you to get both the front and back pieces of your fabric. So now it's time to work on the sleeve. So you can see that the way that they sewed up the sleeve is it was 1 piece, that they have 1 seam on the bottom, so they folded it over. So that's what we're going to be doing as well. We're going to be cutting this out on the fold of the material and then tracing it very similarly to how we did the rest of the shirt. Then repeat this for your second sleeve, so you have 2 sleeves. Now it's time to focus on the actual mock neck portion. So as you can see, the shirt I'm using did not have a mock neck, it didn't have a turtleneck, so we're gonna have to slightly be creative in how we do this if you're in the same situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to measure how large this neck hole is, and then once I figure that out, since I do have a flexible tape measure, I will then cut a rectangle to be that size. Now a rectangle piece will be a little bit looser of a neck, so if you would like it to be tighter, you could make this be in more of a trapezoidal shape. But I'm going to go with this, and we now have all of our pieces cut out for the shirt. So I have that neck portion, and as you see, I have it folded over here, so it was actually about like a 5-inch piece for the width, and then I have folded over. I have the front and back portion of my shirt, and then I have my 2 sleeves. So now what I'm going to do is focus on the mock neck itself. So I'm going to bring these together with right sides together, and I'm going to sew that shorter edge, and that's going to give us what will be the width for our mock neck, as we're going to be folding this over so that you have a nice clean finish. So you're just going to pin up the sides, that short edge, and then you're just going to take a straight seam all the way down. Now I did go ahead and prep the 2 shoulder seams as well, so just matching the front and back with right sides together and pinning where the shoulders are going to be so that I could basically do all 3 of these seams at one time. So I'm just going to be taking that straight seam again on that one side of the shoulder as well as on the second side. So now I'm saying seam, but in this case I'm actually going to be using a serger, as it works a little bit better with knits and it will give me a really nice and clean finish. Now if you do not have a serger, you can do this on a sewing machine using a stretch stitch, but I went ahead and used my serger for all of them. This is what the seam looked like for the mock neck. It came out really nicely, and then when I did the shoulder seam as well, I got that done. So now what's time to do is attach our neck to our main portion of our shirt, and that's going to give us a really nice and clean finish for our neckline. So I have my mock neck folded right now, and it's kind of the state that I want it to be in, and now I'm going to be matching with right sides together the mock neck with the neckline for my shirt. So we're actually pinning 3 layers here, as our mock neck or turtleneck has 2 layers, and then we have our shirt. So bringing all 3 of these together. So I had it so that where I took that seam for the mock neck itself that marked the middle, sorry, the back. So I put that in the middle, and then I just worked my way all the way around the collar, pinning these, and I used quilting clips as it kind of really held everything really nicely together, but you could definitely have used pins here as well. So now I'm just going to use my serger and take that seam all the way around. Now when you get near the end, if you have your serger set so that it is trimming away the extra fabric, be sure to turn this off, as you don't want to start trimming into where you already serged. So this will allow you to finish off that serger, make it look very clean, and not have to worry about cutting into your material. So this is what the seam now looks like. It looks very clean and very neat, and I was able to try it on. I really liked how it looked. So you can see that the neck is a little looser. So again, if you wanted something that was tighter and kind of stood up a little better, you definitely could have cut this out in a trapezoidal pattern. I was wearing a shirt that had a very embroidered design on it, which was why it kind of showed through the fabric a little bit. Now it's time to start working on the sleeves, since that is the next part of our shirt. For this, I'm going to try to do this in the simplest way possible so it's less seams. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to attach that rounded part of the sleeve to the rounded part of the shirt first. So you definitely could have marked this with a couple dots if you wanted to at the beginning, but there will be a noticeable difference in how the fabric kind of has a shape to it. So that's how I knew where to start lining up the sleeve. And then I just went through and moved the sleeve and got it to be attached to the shirt all the way around. Then I serged this so that I got that nice and complete and clean look. Once this was done, it was then time to start actually getting everything to come together. So you have the mock neck, you have your sleeve attached, it probably looks a little bit like a flap right now. And now I'm just going to pin up the shirt, starting all the way at the bottom and then working all the way through to the sleeve so I can take one long continuous seam. This is going to allow us to get that complete shirt look, and you'll be able to take a nice, clean, and neat serger seam right along there. And your shirt is basically at this point almost done. You have your sleeves attached, you have that mock neck, so all it's time to do now is really start to focus on the hem. So this is what the shirt looked like for me. I really liked how it was looking. I also think it's fun. I know that sometimes people will play around with actually having that serger seam kind of be on the outside. You could definitely do this since everything is nice and clean. But now it's time to focus on hemming the sleeves as well as hemming the bottom of the shirt. Now there are so many different ways that you can do this. I opted to go for a rolled hem for both the bottom of the shirt as well as the sleeves. So I did use pins for the sleeves as it was very, very tight with the quilting clips, as well as pins for the actual shirt portion itself. So I ended up doing about a 1/2 inch rolled hem and just very carefully worked my way around and folded the material. Now you could definitely use a ruler if you wanted to do this. I found that the fabric was really kind of working with itself and it was very simple to do. Now for the actual seam, there are many different ways that you can do a hem with knit. I opted to go for a double needle as I think that can give a really nice and clean look, and that was what I was going for with this shirt. Now most sewing machines come with this double needle already. They are installed the same way that you would your regular needle. You just have to use 2 different threads that you thread through your machine. And I did do a test run. Obviously that's really important with knits and it worked. If you would like to see more about double needles, be sure to tell me in the comments and I can do a whole video on that. So this is what the hem was looking like. It was looking really nice and it had a really nice stretch to it as well. And I just continued working my way for both the sleeve as well as the bottom of the shirt. So this is what the hem looked like for the sleeve, looked very neat, and then this is what it looked like for the bottom of the shirt. At this point, your shirt is complete. That was such a simple project. I loved how everything looked. This knit is actually a really, really soft material too. I know that probably doesn't come across as well on the video, but I'm so excited to wear this and it's such a great staple piece, as well as just having something for like underneath clothes, and it's gonna match so many of my different outfits. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and tell me what you want to see next.